Hi yogis and yoginis, I'm Eileen with Eileen Daily Yoga. I'm a yoga and mindfulness and meditation instructor and coordinator. And I wanted to take this time to share a little bit about my recent experience being in silence for 7 days. I had the pleasure of going to Shambhala Mountain Center in Red Feather Lakes, Colorado, which is this beautiful retreat center on 600 acres of property deep in the Rocky Mountains. I've been telling my students that I would share with them my experience, so I thought I would just make this quick video to let you know what I learned about being in silence for 7 whole days. It was incredibly challenging and really rewarding. It was taught by Jim Kalesi and Janet Salinches, both incredible instructors in meditation and mindfulness. Both have over 30 years of experience in both the Shambhala tradition as well as MBSR, which is mindfulness-based stress reduction. So getting to go and be among their presence and to learn from them was definitely, something that's been on my bucket list for a while. So getting to go was pretty awesome, pretty intense. We weren't able to use our cell phones for 7 days. We didn't have Wi-Fi. Oh, actually we had Wi-Fi and I didn't even know about it until the last day, thankfully, because at one point during the retreat, I hit such a low point after not being able to speak for several days and not being able to turn to my own preferences, my likes and dislikes, having to just eat the type of food they had there without me being able to choose, and pick whether I wanted a type of food or not. I didn't have any of those likes or dislikes. I couldn't use any preferences on this trip. It was kind of like I was stripped of all judgment. So that in itself was really challenging. But anyway, to get to the basics of it, I really learned 3 main things on this trip while being in silence for 7 days, not having a cell phone, not using Wi-Fi, not having service, not being able to read or write as well, which was incredibly challenging because I love journaling. But the first thing was that I noticed that during the silence, I constantly found a way to fill the silence most of the time. When I wasn't being very mindful, I realized that I would spend an extended amount of time, a little bit too much, like too long of a time, just picking out clothing to wear the next day. I spent a lot of time, organizing my stuff and just making myself busy, trying to sort of transcend the moment and to sort of not just be with myself. It was almost like I had a hard time just being with myself. And so I would do things to kind of entertain myself in the moment, during the silence, to sort of distract myself from just being in silence. That was the first thing that was interesting. The second thing that I actually found pretty intense and very eye-opening for me was that during the moments when, once again, when I felt insecure during the silence, I would overeat. I actually really look forward to eating. I love eating, and during the meal times, I would rush to the cafeteria or rush to the food line, just waiting to eat and being excited about what they had. And then typically, when I would get to the line, I didn't really like what they had. So it was like I was all excited, I had something to distract me from the silence, and then I didn't really like what they had. So I would also get frustrated by my likes and dislikes, whether I was very happy about something they had or not happy. My preferences really came into play, and I really struggled with lack of control. I struggled with not being able to choose, what it was that I could have to eat that day, and then how much I was eating. I kind of just like really struggled with control because of the silence and because of not having much of a choice. So that was you know, pretty interesting. I found myself filling the void, you know, when I didn't have a vice, like I didn't have a cell phone, you know, I couldn't journal, I couldn't read. I mean, they said we could, but they said, you know, try not to, because that's not the purpose. The purpose is to be in silence and to be with whatever arises. So I found myself kind of trying to transcend the moment, trying to fill the moments with something. That way I didn't have to just be and settle and be with myself. So something really profound that both Janet and Jim taught me was to be aware of inner spanking, which is where you're really, really hard on yourself for not doing a particular thing. You know, I should be doing this, I should be doing that. That inner spanking, just being aware of that and noticing it and not judging it, but being aware of it when you get like that. So for me, I noticed myself, you know, my inner spanking coming out when I would overeat, or and I would feel really full and be really down on myself for that. Or if I didn't think my outfit looked good enough, you know, I mean, really, who cares? We're in a mountain, like we're on the mountains, like no one cares what I'm wearing. But that was just something that I was using to kind of fill that void. And so that was really interesting to me. And it taught me a lot about myself, and now I'm looking at myself like, okay, so I would love to grow a deeper relationship with silence and to explore these insecurities that I have, and to not judge them, but to look at them with a beginner's mind, as John Kabat-Zinn often says in MBSR, to look and explore insecurities with beginner's mind, to not judge them, and to be aware of the inner spanking that I tend to bring upon myself. So that's it for now. If you have any questions, please reach out to me by all means. Comment below in the comment section, or find me on Facebook, Eileen Daily Yoga, and I'll be back soon. Thanks so much. Namaste.